It's Friday! Woo-hoo! You guys, I am so tired from this week. I bet you are too. It's been a big adjustment for all of us, but we made it through. And I am so glad it's Friday. So let's get through with this lesson so that you can get it done before the weekend hits. All right, so today we wrote a Where I'm From poem. So this isn't just like I am from Camp Point, but instead it's everything that makes you who you are. It's all of those memories that you have inside. It's specific items that tell a story about you. So on your attachments today, I'm going to pull that up in Plan Book for Friday for remote learning. It says we're writing a Where I'm From poem in order for others to see how we've been shaped into the person that we are today. So in this PDF right here, I want you to pull that up. That's not the one I'm looking for. All right, here it is. I gave you 3 different examples. The first one is one that I just pulled off the internet, but it says, I am from clothespins, from Clorox and carbotetrachloride. All right, so how can you be from clothespins? Well, maybe it's clothespins tell a story. There's a hidden story behind it. So maybe Mom used to hang out the laundry all the time in the summer, and maybe sheets were hung off the laundry with specific clothespins, and maybe they smelled like Clorox bleach. And that's a memory that you have from when you were a child. So when it says I'm from clothespins and Clorox, you're not really from there, but your memories are held in those items. And then it goes on to say, I'm from the dirt under the back porch, black, glistening, it tastes like beets. All right, so maybe this was a place where you played hide and seek when you were a kid. That's a place that you are from. So then I want to go on and go down, and I want to read you one of mine. Okay, so this is one that I wrote several years ago. It says, I'm from the Jacksons, Demings, and Jansons, from homemade apple pies, blackberry cobblers, and noodles. I'm from horseshoes and foot races, cartwheels, and volleyball games. From Don't Take the Girl, You Light Up My Life, and Jesus Loves Me. From A Boy Called It, Berenstain Bears, Babysitter's Club, and Little House on the Prairie. I'm from You Better Come Home on Time, and I'll give you something to cry about. I'm from That Was Great, and You Did Amazing. From You Ran Out of Steam, and You're Grounded. I'm from A Turtle Footstool, Tang, Play-Doh, and Nintendo. From One Gift on Christmas Eve, Easter egg baskets, and Thanksgiving feast. From Saturday morning pancakes and wrestling meets. I am from amazing confirmation camp and mission trips out west. From Grandma Lorna's scanner going off in the night. I'm from a too close accident and a broken pinky. From a knock at the door to say Gracie was hit and Grandma being called to God. From 2 beautiful little girls and a family that means the world. And then my bottom part got cut off, but it says, I am from a cedar chest from Mom and Dad filled with pictures and long lost memories. All right, so that is one of them that I made. So I want to explain a little bit to you, okay? So the first part I put, I am from Jackson, Demings, and Jansons. These are my family names. So I was a Jackson before I got married. My mom was a Deming. My grandma was a Jansen. These things like homemade apple pies, blackberry cobblers, and noodles, those are foods that make me think of family. My great-grandma always made noodles every Sunday. And we go to her house. We make apple pies with my family every year from the apples in our orchard. Don't Take the Girl, You Light Up My Life, Jesus Loves Me. These are songs that I remember singing when I was little or someone singing to me. Someone said today that You Are My Sunshine is one that maybe their grandma or their mom sang to them. These ones are ones that I have books that were read to me when I was young. Berenstain Bears, Babysitter's Club. I love Babysitter's Club. I tried to come up with my own Babysitter's Club. And Little House on the Prairie, I loved that series when I was little. So all of these have specific meaning to me, all right? You also notice that when I wrote this, I gave detail. I used adjectives. So I didn't just say, I am from Jackson's, from pies, okay? Instead, I gave some adjective or description like homemade apple pies or blackberry cobbler instead of just having cobbler. I also, when I get down here, I have positives and negatives. So that was great and you did amazing, or positive things that were said to me, but then I had negative things said to me too. And that's going to happen in our lives, whether people mean to or not. Sometimes things are just said within feeling and you don't really mean them, but maybe they hurt someone. And, we're sorry for things that we say like that. But it says, I am from, you better be home on time or I'll give you something to cry about. I remember my dad saying that when I was a kid all the time. All right. So then a couple other ones where I use detail. Instead of just saying from a scanner, I said from Grandma Lorna's scanner going off in the night. So I gave another phrase behind it to give it more meaning and give it more description. I said from a too close accident and a broken pinky. This too close accident, my mom was involved in a car accident when I was in high school, and there were 2 fatalities during that accident, but she was lucky enough to live. And so I say it's just a too close accident. I didn't give all of the details because I'm not trying to tell a whole story, but I want people to look at this and say, well, what about that? Like, I want to know more about that. I want to know more about who you are. All right, so then I wrote another example another day, or probably a couple of years later. It says, I'm from county fairs, from flowered toasters and a turtle stool. I'm from a 5th grade Christmas with Disney clothes, from weekends filled with wrestling meets. I'm from Grandma's hair salon in the basement, from get off the phone, and if you don't win, I'll moon the whole crowd. That was my uncle, and he did it. I am from the giver and my side of the mountain, from just explode and keep a flat surface. I'm from late night Scrabble games, from summer barbecues and crazy karaoke. I'm from opening one present on Christmas Eve, from Indian Outlaw and Ice Ice Baby. I'm from chapstick on dying lips, from climbing bell towers in confirmation camp, horseshoes, and boxer puppies. In the cedar chest are my favorite pictures, teddy bears from long lost loves. I am from those moments, kept in one small box, overflowing from my soul. So, again, I try to give you as much description without telling a whole story about each one. Okay, so this is the poem format that I'm kind of wanting you to follow. It has I am from, and then you get to fill in a place or an item or a person, events in there. And then the next line maybe starts with from blank and blank instead of saying I am from. So we're trying to vary the structure a little bit instead of just saying I am from on every single line. And the end of the poem will always be an explanation of where you keep your symbols, where you keep those boxes, or a place that represents the places where, or the things that you talked about in your poem. So this tells you how to set up your Word document. You're going to go into Word, create a new blank document, go to the center, type where I'm from, enter, and then you have your name. And it needs to be very similar to that. Okay, so you're going to create a new line every time you say I am from or from. This is my checklist for you. This is what you're going to be graded on. Every line starts with from or I am from. All of your proper nouns are capitalized. So if you have a name, it's capitalized. If you have a specific place, like maybe you went to Scotty's a lot when you were a kid. Maybe Dad took you to Scotty's. Scotty's would be capitalized. If you have holidays, those are capitalized also. In any name brand. So on mine, I put Nintendo. Or maybe Skittles mean a lot to me. I remember being in 1st grade and our teacher always gave us a Skittle at the end of the day if we did well. I worked really hard for those Skittles. So Skittles would be capitalized because it's a specific brand name. I also am going to be grading you on using descriptive adjectives, making sure you told me where your memories are kept. That's that last sentence in your poem. You also need to have correct punctuation. All right. So getting on Teams, this is how you do it. You log into 365, go to the Teams app. It has a T on it. Click on your class hour. That's where you're going to submit your work. So I'm going to show you a document that I have started. I'm going to start. In order to create this, I'm going to go to Word, online, create a new blank document. I am going to go ahead and put my name. Now, when you're in English class, it's really important that you follow MLA formatting. So I'm going to teach you how to do that. So Times New Roman 12 is the font that I want you to stay in. You'll go ahead and put your heading. So you'll put your name. And then you put the date. And an MLA date, it looks a little strange, but this is how our English papers are formatted. I'm going to go ahead and put 28 AUG, that's the abbreviation for August. And then I put my year. The next one, I'll put my hours. So maybe I'm in first hour class. I'm going to enter. And then I am going to center my page. And I'm going to put my title. Now, when you put a title, it needs to be capitalized. So I have a capital letter on each one of these words. I don't need to bold it. I don't need to underline it or change the size of the font. I just keep it there. I'm going to enter again. And then I'm going to line up on the left-hand side. If you need to pause me anytime during this time, that is fine. Okay, so if you want to do this as I'm explaining it to you, that would be great. Just pause me, set it up, and then come back in for the next step. Okay. All right, so now I'm going to start with my format. So another downloadable document that you had looks like this, the Where I'm From template. Okay, so I'm going to zoom in just a little bit so you can see it. Now, you do not have to follow this, but it's a good example. Okay. It says, I am from, and then it has a space, then you put your specific ordinary item. You don't have to have just an item. You can start it off any way you want. Okay. So maybe I start off by saying, I am from hot kitchens with steaming jars. Okay. Notice that I use my adjectives, my hot and steaming. So if I were to tell you more about this, this would be canning tomatoes from our garden, okay? So I am from hot kitchens with steaming jars, comma. I'm going to enter and then tab. And then I'm going to start with from. So this is following this format right here. So see how I have from on the second line? All right. And then this is a product name. Well, we use a lot of a brand of canning stuff called Mrs. Wages. So I'm going to say from Mrs. Wages packets. And what else reminds me of canning? From Mrs. Wages packets and huge pans on the kitchen stove. Okay. Again, did you see how I used all of those adjectives? I said Mrs. Wages described my packets. Huge describes pans. Kitchen describes stove. And then we're going to put a period at the end. All right. So that whole section then is about my canning experience. I'm going to go ahead and hit enter, but I want to backspace because I want to be back over here. And I'm going to say I am from, and then I go to my next thing. All right, one good thing that maybe you want to do before you actually get started on writing your poem is just brainstorm some ideas on what you could write about, okay? So if I go back, I'm going to pull up a whiteboard for you. Maybe not. Let's see if I can get into my apps. It's going to take a couple minutes, hopefully not too long. All right, start thinking about things that you think of when you think of your childhood. Maybe they could be your favorite songs. They could be books that you read, things that were said to you. Did you have any teddy bears when you were little? Did you have a favorite blankie? Did you have vacations with your grandparents, special animals, anything like that? All right, so I'm going to go to this whiteboard. And I am just going to write down as many things that I can think of. Okay, so if I'm brainstorming, I'm thinking, okay, my teddy bear, again, apple pie, items in my house. I remember this old flowered brown toaster. I don't know why that sticks out in my mind, but it does. I'm going to move myself over here so you can see my writing, my ideas. Maybe doesn't want to move. All right. Some other things that I can think of. Oh, I know. Foods. I'm thinking of sweet tea. We always drank that on the porch. We would go and water cows with my grandpa. What else? Remember sitting? We didn't wear seatbelts when I was a kid. So back seats without seatbelts. I remember having a basket on my bike, playing dolls with my sister. What else? Oh, I loved a Mickey Mouse sweatshirt that my dad got me. So I'm going to type that out. I remember flowers on the kitchen table. All right. So I've got a whole bunch of these things that I remember. So this is, I told the kids today, this is called word vomit. You just put all of your thoughts out and you can write these down. You don't have to type them out anywhere and just get all of your thoughts out, all of these ideas that you could then incorporate into your poem. Okay. So I've got all of these ideas. So I'm going to take, the basket on my bike and playing dolls. Okay. So I'm going to go back into my document that I was writing. And I'm going to start that next line. Okay, so I am going to say, I am from riding the banana seat bike. Doll hanging out of basket. Period. I'm going to go back. I'm going to say, I am from, I'm going to say, Play-Doh Kitchens. Remember making hamburgers and ice cream cones out of Play-Doh. I am from Play-Doh Kitchens, a Barbie camper. And what else? And Nerf guns. All right, and then I'm going to put a period. Notice how I capitalized Barbie and Nerf because those are specific brand names, right? So this is what you are going to be doing. Now, people in class ask me how long it should be. So when I'm going back to mine, and I pull this up for the example that you had of mine, you see how long it is? That's what I'm looking for, okay? Something like that. Make sure that you've got details in there. All right. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me, send me a message on chat on Teams, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. I am looking forward to knowing you a little bit better because of the poem that you're going to write to me. Now, when you get this done, I want you to call it Where I'm From. You can rename it just by clicking there on the document number. I'm going to call mine Where I'm From Example. Okay. And then when you go into Teams, you're going to go into your assignments, choose your class. So if it's English here, and then click Next. Here's the Where I'm From. And then you have to attach your work. Okay, so when you go to attach it, there will be a little paper clip. Couldn't think of the word. Paper clip there. You're going to click it. And then if you did it on Word Online, then it's in your OneDrive. Okay, and so you'll click OneDrive and then find it, attach it, put done, and then you will hit the turn in button, which is going to be right up here. It is worth 15 points. Make sure that spelling is good, punctuation is there, and lots of descriptive detail. All right, guys, I hope you have a great weekend, and I will see you next week. Bye.